Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. February was a fantastic month for Jacob Markstrom, and the NHL seems to think so too. And now March is off to a hot start for some baby Flames. All that and more coming up next on Locked On Flames.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto of the Metropolitan Riveters Public Relations team. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Thanks so much for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, and we're free on YouTube as well. So why aren't you subscribed? Do it right now. Jacob Markstrom was named second star of the month by the NHL. Mitch Martiner, he had a great month, but in my completely unbiased, uh, subjective opinion, Jacob Markstrom is the true winner here, honestly. I'm just kidding. Mitch Martiner did have a pretty good month. Markstrom has had one hell of a season this year, and February was no different. He went 8-1-0 this last month and earned himself a .929 save percentage and a 2.04, so just about a 2 goals against average. I feel like he did have a very heavy workload through January and February, but he looked fantastic, and it wasn't really anything that you had to question. I think there were only a few games where, or maybe not even a few games, but just a stretch of like 2 days where a lot of us were concerned about his performance and if he was injured uh due to his workload and Dan Vladar never really getting any time in that rotation. But he earned himself another shutout, putting him at the at league leading 8. So, I would say Markstrom's doing just fine. He looks great. He looks healthy. He had more than a handful of fantastic saves that, we could really just do a top 10 Jacob Markstrom plays of February. Honestly, he just looked so good, and he had that double blocker save, and I was blown away. I could not believe that he did that, and that was real. I'm pretty sure was that against it was either against Seattle or Florida, but, it just unreal stuff from him. It was just, like, something you see in a video game, and I I don't know how he does it. And he had a season high 46 saves against Toronto in that 5-2 win. 46 saves. Now, something about him is just he makes it look so easy, and that's how you know he's good at the sport, because there aren't too many people who can make such a difficult task look so effortless. And for Markstrom to be able to go out there and do that night after night, it's unreal. And his 24-11-5 record puts him 5th in the league, and with a save percentage of 925, again tying him for 5th. Is there a chance that he can squeak his way up there and possibly earn a Vezina nomination? I think that would be quite difficult. Quite honestly, I don't really think that he'll squeak up to the top 3, but, you never know if the Flames go out there and get a strong defender and he has more help on the back end. You could see anything, honestly, but I really do believe that Markstrom is one of the best goaltenders in this league, and he is just he's in Calgary, so again, we talk about this all the time. There isn't enough of a spotlight on him. When you are in a large market like New York, Toronto, Carolina's not a large market, but Frederick Anderson's getting a lot of attention. LA and those just more East Coast markets, honestly, you're going to get more attention. But I am so happy to have Jacob Markstrom here on the Flames in between the net, night after night. And I think that Flames fans should be more than happy to finally have a true solid goaltender. And now that the Flames are going to be making a run for the playoffs, and what I would hope to be a deep run, I would say that, you can let out a sigh of relief when you look at Jacob Markstrom play, because he's not just playing in the Canadian division. It's not the North Division this year. He is playing strong games against very competitive teams. He's having solid games against teams he could play in the playoffs or teams he could face in the Stanley Cup final. Like, there are true like, it's a different level of competition than he saw last year. And what you need to remember is that last year was that weird division split trial period, if you will, with the Flames and Daryl Sutter. And then he comes in and he just has, like, this year, I think a lot of us lowered our expectations from last year, but they're blowing those expectations out of the water. And Jacob Markstrom is a leader on this team, and he has helped secure wins. You can't win games if your offense doesn't come through, but the offense is there this season, the way that goaltending was last year. So it's nice to see two parts of that well-oiled machine on the same page for once. Last year, all we talked about was every single person on this team needs to be on the same page, the same book, the same chapter, the same line, the same word. And we finally have that. And that's why you're seeing Jacob Markstrom earn this second star of the month. You're seeing Lindholm be named, first star of the week. You're seeing more recognition league wide because of how they're performing. And this is just the beginning of it all. And we should be so excited to see that. And Calgary is so much more than their beautiful jerseys. And that's something I've learned over the last 2 years of covering this team. So we're going to talk more about BetOnline is a fantastic place for you to get all of your March Madness needs. They are number one when it comes to sports betting, sports coverage, sports news, sports podcasts, and they have you covered with the latest odds, totals, player performance props, and where the next fired coach is going to land. And they have a fantastic, easy to navigate website, betonline.net. And it's not just, March Madness. They have you covered from hockey, boxing, UFC, and one of my favorite things was watching their Olympic coverage. So, it's there. They have it. You need to head on over to betonline.net, betonline, where the game starts. Thank you so much for tuning into Locked On Flames. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. It's on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. And make sure to join the discussion because we talk about a lot of different things over on Twitter. A new flame has joined the little baby fire, and his name is Rory Kerins. He is oh my God, he was born in 2002. Good God. Okay. So the Flames announced today that they have signed Rory Kerins to a 3-year entry-level contract. He's a native of Caledon, Ontario, and is having having a career year with the Soo Greyhounds of the OHL. He's currently second in OHL scoring with 84 points, third in goals with 33, and has 11 power play goals, which has him tied for fifth in the OHL, along with 8 game winners, making him second in the OHL. And like, when you see stats like that, that's so impressive because I don't think there's anything I could do that puts me at that level. Like, I do a mean quick grocery shop, if that counts. but I don't think it does because there's no professional like grocery shopper league. But he's a 6-foot centerman drafted in the 6th round of the 2020 draft, and he shoots left, which is good. And it's important that the Flames start really working on their future. And it's not because it's not like an ongoing, like it's always an ongoing process, and you're always looking to make your prospect and farm system better. But the Flames narrowly avoided a rebuild, like a full-blown rebuild, and they were able to slot in some key pieces. But if things start heading south quickly, things could very easily derail. You never know, especially after this offseason. You don't know what's coming. And he's going to get some time in the system before he starts making that jump to the big leagues, which obviously allows the current centers and current forwards in the system to get their time in the NHL. I think it's kind of part of the game, especially with a coach like Daryl Sutter. It is a bit of a waiting game to call up these prospects. Adam Ruzicka was called up, and then he wasn't really one of the forwards I would have personally selected, but that's why I host a podcast and I don't work in the NHL. But I think that, you look at players like Matthew Phillips, who should probably be getting a call soon. But then you have to look at, okay, where's the time? Where can they slot in? They have to waive Brett Ritchie for that to happen. They need to make room for these young guys. But if it's working right now, I don't think anything's going to change. But, it's great to add more to your system, to add more to your prospect pool, to make the Calgary organization attractive. And you need to really work and pull from their strengths, because you don't know what could happen. Johnny could leave. Matthew Tkachuk could leave. Andrew Mangiapane, he could leave. He could absolutely leave. And you know what? It gives Brad Treliving, who has 1 year left on his contract, and if they don't sign an extension with him, whoever the next general manager may be, it gives them some time to figure out what to work with and what they can do in order to make things work and make this organization attractive, make it a successful organization. And right now, I think the Flames are at a perfect spot. And unfortunately, the key players you need in order to keep this well-oiled machine well-oiled are the ones that are coming up on that contract extensions and expiring contracts. So you have to figure out how you can not manipulate, but maneuver the field and figure out, how can I sign Johnny Gaudreau, Andrew Mangiapane, and Matthew Tkachuk when I have $3? The answer is not giving them all $1. That is not how it's going to work. But, I think that Brad Treliving, people sound pretty confident with Johnny staying. And we did the episode, and apparently it was just a joke that the assistant general manager made. But, I don't think they'd be making jokes if it wasn't something that they were serious about behind the scenes, picking up what I'm putting down. But it is so important to keep working with your prospects, and not just to ensure the future of your team, but to make them attractive and talented and develop them enough to be attractive to other teams so you can slap them in a trade. And that's kind of the beauty of life of a prospect. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's kind of fun. I think that it's hard to truly evaluate a player's worth when they're 20 years old. Obviously, we're not talking about Connor McDavid here, but some players take a little while to hit that true NHL caliber talent. And that's okay, because they have the OHL to develop, they have the AHL to develop. And I think that things are going pretty well in Stockton in terms of player development. I don't know. I think that I think that Dustin Wolf is turning out all right. Their Adam Ruzicka looks great, Matthew Phillips looks great, and I'm sure that we'll see more players come up, and we will be able to evaluate them. But right now, there's no spots on the roster for them, so signing this kid to an entry-level contract gives him a few years to get, some experience under his belt and allows the team to work with what they've got for now. So I really want to believe that the things like this isn't anything we need to overanalyze or spend a lot of time on. It's just some news. It's exciting news in terms of another player getting a shot at the big leagues. And I wish nothing but the best for him. He's a really cool name. Rory Kerins. I like the name Rory, but that doesn't matter right now. um, Thank you all so much for listening to Locked On Flames. We do have one more thing to talk about today, and that would be Flames' first round pick in this last draft, Matthew Coronado being named the E. But first, let's talk about Rock Auto. Rock Auto is just a lifesaver for me personally because I am always having car problems. My car, she's on her last leg, but with Rock Auto, I'm saving so much money uh, on car parts and repairs because they are cheaper than the chain stores and going to the dealership. And you can save time and money because it's easy. You just click, rockauto.com, type in what you need, and they're a family business serving the do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. And with the ever rising prices of car repairs and car parts, you don't have to worry about Rock Auto overcharging you, and that's why I appreciate them. They make my life a bajillion times easier, and I don't have to go in and have my car problems be mansplained to me by a mechanic or a teenager behind the chain store counter. Go explore their easy to use website today and find the solution to your auto part needs. Head on over to rockauto.com right now to see all the parts available for your car or truck. And of course, write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So, if you're watching on YouTube, you might be seeing my super cool Black Rosie crew neck. This is something that Not a Fan Joe from Twitter designed with the Metropolitan Riveters as well as Black Girl Hockey Club for the Riveters Black History Month collection. And this is so comfortable and one of my favorite crew necks that I own, and you can own it too. This isn't an ad or sponsored or anything. This is me telling you. But you can head on over to the Metropolitan Riveters website, and all of our proceeds or all of the proceeds from the collection get donated to Black Girl Hockey Club, which is an amazing organization. And Bauer Hockey just actually donated $100,000 worth of equipment to them. So, it's a great cause to get behind. And Joe, the designer, is an absolute sweetheart who I had the pleasure of working with this past weekend and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw it, but she's just a doll, an absolute doll. But yes, let's transition back over to Flames prospects. Matthew Coronado was named ECAC Rookie of the Week. He is attending Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and he had a 4-point weekend. And they had 3 games this weekend, which is absurd, but he scored 2 goals and had 2 assists, and he has 25 points in 28 games. On Friday, the freshman put up a goal and 2 points in Harvard's 5-3 setback to Union College, and then he followed it up with another goal and 2-point performance in a 5-1 win over RPI on Saturday. I just am blown away by this kid. He is from New York and was the 13th overall pick in the 2021 draft. And this is his freshman season at Harvard. He's tied for third in the team on scoring and has 7 multi-point outings. And I just am blown away. I think that Ted Donato is doing a good job with him. I think that Jack Donato is also kind of nepotism, but whatever. But anyways, let me not. I think that, it's always fun to see these players kind of develop, and especially a player that comes through the college pipeline. I love the NCAA to NHL pipeline, especially when it's a Big East school. So, Johnny at Boston College, Matthew Coronado at Harvard. Any of that fuels me because I, as a Bostonian, I eat it up. It's great to watch college hockey. College hockey's a blast, honestly. Even if there is no fighting, it's still like you don't need fighting to sell your product. I don't know whoever came up with that. I'd like to have a conversation with them. But again, I think, this is really promising for the young athlete. It's promising for the Flames. Does he do a year or two at Harvard and then jump to the AHL? Maybe. Does he just stick out? I say stick out as if it's a problem. Does he complete 3 years and then finish up his degree online like Johnny Gaudreau did? It's, this journey is different for everyone. And I think that, watching a first rounder have success like this is obviously great. It's a sign that the Flames made the right decision because they knew that there wasn't really a roster spot available for anyone, kind of like how Mason McTavish. No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Cole Sillinger. That's who I meant. When, that's who a lot of Flames fans wanted. But it was Columbus who ended up drafting him just one pick before at 12. But the Flames knew that they were going for Coronado and they were not changing their mind. They were not drafting up. They weren't doing anything. It's always great to see them have such promise and such faith in their draft picks. And I don't know, I think that the hockey development system is very interesting. I think that, it's not as complicated as Major League Baseball's prospect farm system in terms of arbitration and how many levels you have to go through. But the NHL definitely has a fun pipeline for a lot of these kids, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to kind of pick a player, whether they be on your team or not, and watch them develop and then finally get their debut lap, their first NHL game. So hopefully Matthew Coronado does not get traded and makes that Flames debut someday soon. And that is all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm Jess Belmosto. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. It's right here on the screen. If you're looking to join in on conversation with fellow Flames fans or live reactions to hockey games. So you can obviously make sure to subscribe to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. We are not picky here. So find your favorite platform and just subscribe. If you're listening on Apple, leave a 5-star review and a nice little rating. We appreciate it. We are finally in the top 100 hockey podcasts in Canada. We are crushing it. So thank you all, and I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow with hopefully a fun recap of today's game against the Wild. Bye-bye.